There we go. Remember to put yourself. Always remember to put yourself on the stage. Otherwise, you get a bit of a problem then. Anyway, good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Walk indoors. As someone in the chat has said, I might not be in Wales, but in Yorkshire, it is still blowing an absolute storm. So if we did go out today, all it would be so yeah, we are indoors today just for that reason. So unfortunately, no ponies no ponies this morning, but we will, as always, talk about what's been going on or some interesting bits and pieces that I want to talk about. But as always, thank you very much for joining me today. So we've got who have I missed? So we've got Rab Adler, good morning to you. Cavalan 100, good morning to you. Paul Martin, good morning to you. Windy in Northwest Wales. Kath OG, good morning to you. Dave W, good morning to you. Mike Fletcher, good morning to you. Patrick H, morning to you. Ben Ridings, good morning to you. Nicholas Bethel, good morning to you. Welcome to the countdown, indeed. Patrick H, Groundhog Day. Mike Fletcher, good morning to you. Sunak and the lady questioning yesterday went well. Just shows his lack of empathy. Oh, yes. that was something special. So MPs and obviously political personalities at some point, sooner or later in their lives, always have to at some point interact with the public. And you never know how that's going to go. And some of the greatest political gaffes that have ever happened have come about because, MP what's his face went walkabout in the wild and ran into someone asking awkward questions. So that's what happened to Sunak as well. Tom Nielsen, good morning to you. Ben Ridings, good morning to you. Patrick H, good morning to you. So Patrick H, Sunak is as good at politics as I am good at astrophysics. Yeah, exactly. Zaldrin, it's a scandal. No ponies. Well, yeah. Well, unfortunately, we can't. Well, we could technically get ponies, I suppose. I could always go. No, I just cannot. Well, now I was going to try to find a pony clip, but never mind. I can't find it. But anyway, we'll just have to grin and bear with it today. Prinny Bird, greetings to you. Ben Ridings. Sunak tried to swipe the card against the face to try and make it disappear. oh yes, the infamous the infamous Gordon Brown hot mic disaster. Oh yeah, I think we all remember that when that happened, and that ran for weeks. It ran for weeks. But Craig, yes, you've scuppered what we're going to be talking about today, because I have a hard out today. I'm going to be off out and away by about 10 o'clock because I've got a speech to give down in London. Although I'm not in London, I'm going to do it via Zoom. So I will be timing myself and making sure that I'm ready to go before that. But yes, you are right. Craig, are the hard left trying to do to the Greens what Momentum did to Labour? Jump in and substitute their hardline version of group ideology. Yes, Craig, that is what we are going to be talking about. And not only that, I'm going to be giving some predictions of what I think might happen to the Green Party because of this. Billy Crenshaw, hello, mortals. Oh, so yeah, what happened? What happened first of all? Why, why did this happen? Well, um, there is a Green councillor. Oh, Mitchell and Boo, good morning to you. Or shall we say now a parliamentary candidate. Uh, let me just get my screen up here. Oh, hang on. By the name of Chelsea Walton. Like this is her. This is her. This is her. Well, it's not her profile. This is what she had to post in response. Now, why did she end up having to post this 2-page apology note? And bear in mind, this note got so little attention compared to her original tweet, which at this point was over 4 years old. So think about this. This person is meant to be running as a Green Party candidate for a Green Party MP. You know, she's running. She's in the running for it. She's currently, I think, a councillor. I think, although she might not be. You'll have to forgive me if that part's wrong. But she is definitely running to be a Green Party MP. Now, imagine this: that the pro-Corbyn Labour have now left Labour and seeking a new political home. They have now decided, in their wisdom, we are going to join the Green Party. And that is going to become our new home. So they have now, I think, took it upon themselves to do purity testing. Because this is what they did during the Momentum years as well. If you weren't with us, you were against us, you weren't a proper member of Labour, you weren't on the left, you were absolutely awful and terrible and must be absolutely cast out from the party. Like, that's what happened during the Momentum years, and people forget that happened. They tried to oust MPs by challenging them. They failed more often than they actually succeeded. I think they only actually ever succeeded twice in those 2 attempts to remove MPs. But they tried many other times. They had parallel organizations. So you'd have the local Labour Party, who that's where you would go to your meetings. That's where you would sort of, do all the campaigning. You would do it through them. Instead of joining that, they then made their own groups if the local Labour Party didn't like them, or they felt that they weren't being treated right by those local Labour parties. Basically, you listen to us because we've got all this sussed out. So you had many constituencies where there were in effect 2 local Labour parties. There was the actual real local Labour Party, and then there was the Momentum version. And honestly, having said and been to many a Momentum meeting, they really did not achieve much in those meetings. It was mainly sat around navel gazing, talking about how wonderful sort of they are, and how about we're going to bring out this amazing political revolution. So it's like, okay, guys, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to bring out this amazing political revolution. Don't you worry. Yeah. But that is what I think is going to happen now in the Green Party, because why on earth would you go scrolling through someone's Twitter profile for 2 to 3-year-old tweets of someone who is currently running as to be a Green Party MP and try and flag up a tweet where you had the audacity to say that Jeremy Corbyn was not a good MP. I mean, all I'm going to say is, um, just what on earth? It just there are going to be things going really bad, and this is, I think, their first, or it's the first that I've been aware of. It wouldn't surprise me if they are doing this right now to try and check as many people as they can to make sure that they are, shall we say, the right color green, as they used to say. Oh, you're not the right color red for us. um, Yep. Craig, it's easy to be ideological pure when you don't have to worry about consequences or effectiveness. Yep. Corbyn has been in Parliament for decades and got nowhere because he has never met anyone in the middle. Yep. If you're not the right shade of red, green now apparently, then you're a Tory, obviously. Yep. Momentum. We'll make our own party with blackjack and hookers. Everyone. Does that mean you're leaving? Momentum. No, but can you leave now, heretic? And the thing is, though, momentum still does exist in the Labour Party, although I think that you've had now so many people um, just go, "Oh, we can't work with Labour," and I'm seeing this quite a lot now, especially from those who have now, shall we say, shifted over to the Green side, to go, "Oh, um, it's pointless trying to work with Labour. You can't work with them, but if they're going to be the government in power in like 12 months' time, who are you going to work with to, affect change? Labour are the ones in power. Wouldn't it be more wiser to sort of work with the Labour Party to sort of, but no, they are already trying to set up the lie that you can't work within the Labour Party, that starting a movement with the Labour Party is pointless, even though there are plenty of movements internally with the Labour Party that are pushing for change, that are trying to sort of affect change in the local area right now. In where I am, there is a group called Labour Cooperative, and they are very, very socialist. They've got candidates standing for MPs in the region. They've got even local councillors. They even tried at the fact, yeah, they just missed out on having their candidate be the local city regional mayor. And yet, I'm told, oh no, there's no left people in the Labour Party. They're all being kicked out. It seems to be only very specific people who are being, quote, kicked out and leaving. And I say kicked out in heavy quotation marks, because I think when you look into some of these people, I do think there's a genuine reason why most of these people got kicked out. I do believe that. But yeah, Ben Riley's, yeah, momentum are just a self-defeating entity. Yep. Yep, some people are just contrarians. Yep, they're not happy unless they are they are things are going their way. It's unfortunately what happens. I think this is going to happen to the Green Party, because you had this you had someone who was standing as an MP. We'll go back to her, what she said, like her little statement she had to put out. So here it is. A short note of previous comments in relation to Jeremy Corbyn. So, firstly, as she says, thank you for bringing my previous tweets to my attention and allowing me to explain myself. I was not a member of the Green Party at the time when I made these remarks. So, First of all, why is she not calling people out for dredging up like years old tweets saying that Corbyn was not a good MP? Like, why aren't you calling them out? But there you go. So she continues, I was a former resident and community organizer in Islington North at the time when Jeremy Corbyn ran to be Labour leader. I was angry at the MP because he had cancelled his attendance at a community event I was helping to organise at the last minute. Hang on. In favour, last minute, in favour of press interviews. While this is understandable in retrospect, at the time, it felt like a disregard for the huge amount of time that my neighbours and I had spent putting the event together. I have since been proven wrong about the claims I made in relation to anti-Semitism. Again, I will say this now. I do not think there was smoke without fire. I really don't think there was. I think there was a lot to these claims. And I think it mostly boils down to people being really zealous and being very, very anti-Israeli. That is what the left are unfortunately doing now. There have been many people engaged in this now. Unfortunately, during the what's going on now in Gaza, you have seen people be openly pro-Hamas, not pro-Palestinian, openly pro-Hamas on the left. You've seen people praising the Houthi rebels on the left for what they're doing. You're like, whoa, guy, whoa, what are you doing? So, and there are many people out there. There are many people out there with stories about what happened, and there was one I would love to tell, but I really can't because it's not my story to tell. But no, I might have to try and get him on at some point. That would be quite fun. That would be quite fun. But anyway, so back to it. So I no longer believe in the claim that I made and wholeheartedly apologize for making that statement. The basis of my tweet is that we need better politicians. Really? I am still trying to figure out how to be the best I can be myself, and I am still very new to all this. I am human and I make mistakes, but I will continue to try my best for as long as my local party wishes to me to be their candidate. And if they think that you can do better, I strongly encourage you to put yourself forward too. Oh, yeah, that's not yeah. That's not annoyed at all the stuff she's probably been thrown at in like the last 24 hours. Honestly, yeah, I do feel sorry for her, but these people who went after her are all the rabid anti-Corbyn people who have now decided they're going to join the Labour Party. Well, no, not Labour Party. Now going to join the Green Party. And even the Green Party themselves have now been actively trying to court these people because it's not, the Conservatives we've got to defeat at the next election to, make things better, to be able to improve like the state of the UK, improve like the NHS and things like that. No, it's Labour that we've got to go after for some reason in the Green Party. And it's because they have had all these anti Corbyn people. Well, so the anti, all the pro Corbyn people stream into their party and think, oh well, this is it, green tide, people, green tide. I'd like to remember, now that they've lost Caroline Lucas in Brighton Pavilion, it is all likelihoods at the moment when you look at polling intentions, they're going to lose that seat. Caroline Lucas is a massive loss to the Green Party, a massive loss to the Green Party. You've also got the fact that at the moment, from what you can see, Bristol Central looks like it might be going to the Greens. Might be. We'll see what happens on general election night. But they're going to lose Brighton Pavilion and they're going to gain another seat. Or they might lose none. they might gain no new MPs. I've said before, the Green Party are their best stand should be and constantly be, we want to change the voting system. We are massively pro PR, and that should be our main objective, to get PR in, get that change. But that's not their main message at the moment, which is kind of sad. But I do want to point out something that is a big surprise to, I think, people on this, because believe it or not, the Greens do have, quote, a rail policy. They have a rail policy, but they don't want HS2. But there is a campaign group within the Green Party called oh, hang on. There we go. Greens for HS2. Greens for HS2. And last Green Party conference, they went to their conference and said, we want to try and get you to back these two amendments, and the Green Party should back HS2, that you should back it, that this will be good for you to back. But of course, didn't end up going that way. And there was some interesting comments from anti, shall we say, HS2 Green people against that, which is kind of interesting, but also, I feel really bad for the Greens for HS2, to be honest. But I just want to go through what they were trying to move on the conference. So they had Motion D15, which calls for the party to support direct engagement with the HS2 Limited and the Department for Transport to make HS2 work for our green agenda. A green HS2, not a Tory HS2. We want you to support this one. Motion E09, on the contrary, calls for work on HS2 to be stopped immediately because there is no case for it. We say we should reject this one. So bear in mind, you've got a party that wants and constantly says, we've got a party, or we've got a plan to improve British Rail. We know that if you want to improve British Rail, then you've got to build HS2. You can't get away from it. Every single rail engineer expert is constantly saying it doesn't matter that you're going to do all these rail works in sort of, south of Manchester, south of Birmingham, because you're going to make a massive bottleneck, not only north of Birmingham, but into Manchester as well. You are going to get, because we do not have HS2, bigger ticket prices, because they're going to try and want to sort of price people out of using the rail, because you're going to have so many people trying to use rail now, because the rail network is not fit for capacity. We have seen, and one of the reasons why the Greens tried to kill HS2, because they said, oh, there's no need for it. They started parroting the anti HS2 lines from the Tories, because they started saying, oh, there's no need for HS2 because COVID, everyone's not using rail travel anymore. Well, guess what? That was a temporary blip. Everyone said it's just a temporary blip. What are we seeing now? Rail passenger numbers are returning. People are going back to using the rails. So this was the fight that took place at the Green Party conference, that you had one side was going, no, actually, we really need to support HS2 on this. And then you had another motion which said, yeah, we should stop work immediately. Like, just stop all work, including the current work that is going on. I will say this now. This isn't the only contradiction in Green Party um, policy and ideology. Maybe we'll close to the time when they actually drop their manifesto. We'll talk about it. But I think it'll be quite fun, especially as they seem determined to have pops at the Labour Party. I see no problem why well, put it this way: Labour's not going to pop back, but I feel maybe I should. Because it's interesting talking about some of their interesting policies, shall we say? Uh, but we'll get onto this. Um, do, 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 do. So that was the motion of the text. So why would like to support this motion? This motion asks the conference to support and authorize our elected representatives and spokespeople who are trying to do just that by campaigning for improvements in the scheme in the way that HS2 Limited are trying to deliver it. The motion of the conference. Yeah. Background paper explaining the rationale for this motion on spaces here. For Green Party members only, you'll need to log in. One of the key justifications is the huge scope for HS2 is to promote our existing green policy goals as expressed in our transport policy statements. HS2 project is already underway, and we are not going to stop it, but there is plenty that we can do to influence it for the better to make it a green HS2, not a Tory HS2. So why is there a problem? This is the fun part. The trouble is, at the moment, the party's position on the very existence of HS2 is very confused. We rightly support the idea of a north-south high-speed railways, but we paradoxically oppose one actually being built. So, Green Party, oh yeah, we really want north-south high-speed rail. We really want it, absolutely love it, but we're not going to build it. We oppose it being built. This means we are in a bind. So, without looking hypocritical, the party can't speak with a loud and clear voice to HS2 Limited to behave responsibly with affected habitats and communities, to design a railway so it's accessible to all, or to link it properly with local and active public transport stations. Nor can we lobby the Department of Transport to plan the most effective use of the capacity freed up on the classical railway networks, to set fares and levies to try and encourage travellers again to use the train rather than to use the car or plane, or to invest in other new railways to build on these connections and the capacity that HS2 brings. So this is people who know what they're talking about when it comes to it. And I've said this expressly many times before. You cannot improve British railways without building HS2. You need to build HS2. Like, this is something Labour should be on. And I will say, and I will always campaign within Labour, say, hey, no, we do need HS2. We can bring HS2 back. We have to really try and bring this back. Otherwise, we're going to be in for a decade, if not more, of really, really bad rail connectivity. It's going to cost the economy billions of pounds in GDP. It's going to make transport and connections an absolute nightmare. It's something we need to do, and we're going to have to sort of face that reality. Even Labour is going to have to turn around eventually and say, yeah, this is it. We're going to have to follow this, like it or not. So, decisions are being made without us. We have green councillors along the route of HS2 in places such as Solihull, where the new interchange station is being built. They are already dealing with HS2 Limited too. to trying to force them to work considerably with local people to limit habitat destruction and disturbance during construction, a link to the new station properly with local buses, trams, cycling, walking routes to reduce dependency on access by car, reduce the amount of car parking to improve the cycle and bus facilities. But they are having to work on their own without backing from the party nationally. Their voice is now lessened. So again, this is the bizarre contradiction that they've said. Green Party, we want to have better public transport. We want better public transport, but they have the opportunity with again with HS2 to back HS2 to get better public transport, to engage with HS2 Limited. HS2 Limited did a massive green agenda, which they said this is our green 10-point agenda. They worked with Green Party councillors who are on this line as part of that Green Party agenda, and yet many people in the Green Party completely reject those 10-point green policy plans and outright reject building HS2 because there's not a need for it. all comes back to refusing to build HS2. Oh, what's this, Jess Hunt? LNER just got rid of peak tickets on the line between London and Edinburgh. Getting a train is now a preserve of the wealthy. Yeah, it's going to get even more expensive because we didn't build HS2. and that is to sort of force people off rails. Like, that's it. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to force people off the rails for this. And like I say, it's just a bad outcome all around. Just a continual bad outcome. And it's just like, and I don't understand why the actual party is against building HS2 to begin with, because trains are like really green form of transport. It's better than buses, better than trams. Why aren't we building? Why aren't the Green Party in favor of building HS2? It's a real mystery that they have to have a pressure group called Greens for HS2 that get treated absolutely horribly in response to this. But there you go. And of course, there is no constructive pressure from the party's parliamentarians. The spokesperson to hold HS2 to account is on a very poor record of community engagement and a slipshod approach to habitat preservation and enhancement. There are big decisions being made in the government about HS2 and other railways investments that rely on HS2, which will be transformative in other areas. As we've said, again, they get it. You build HS2, it's going to bring a lot of improvements. So one part is the East Leg, Phase B2 of HS2 is now under threat. Even if you are opposed to HS2 as an idea, once it's built, it makes best sense to build it all. The Eastern Leg is the part that generates the most connectivity benefits across the East Midlands and the North. We've already committed to build the bulk of woodland loss and heavy engineering to build the big viaducts, tunnels, and stations for phases 1 and 2A and 2B West. If we snip off the eastern leg, we have all but cut the cost of the environmental loss, but we then miss out on the best benefit, a transformative railway provision that for a deprived East Midlands and Yorkshire. Again, you build HS2, you get all these benefits. Northern Powerhouse Rail, a big scheme for the North, which uses HS2 track and stations for its own high-speed cross-Pennine services. This would build on the capacity that HS2 would free up around Leeds and the Midlands and the North East main lines to offer new trains, more frequent and reliable services, and faster journey times across the North. What we've been saying all the time, you build HS2, those trains can move on their own high-speed rail. This frees up the capacity. East Midlands Engine Rail, which plans massive improvements to services in and through Birmingham and other Midland cities. Using the space at Birmingham stations on the other main lines, freed up from express trains being replaced by the HS2 services. We could fight for this scheme and other public transport links. improvement to the freight network to maximize the benefits from the mainline capacity being freed up for more rail freight trains. But national party figures cannot make constructive green suggestions that would make these decisions as sustainable as they can be by to further our party's transport objectives, rather than active participants in the discussions and campaigning about these issues. They are just snipers from the sidelines. So, with authorization from the Congress, we could either send senior or elected party representatives. Could they be doing? And then they talk about engaging HS2, engaging with the government. This is the plan to halt HS2. Why do you like to reject it? So why reject this motion? We say this is a bad motion and conference should firmly reject it. 1, it's futile. The Green Party cannot stop HS2 being built. It's already well under construction. If we are a serious party that engages with the real world. So I like that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, we can't stop construction because HS2 is technically already started. Because if we sort of put this forward, then we're not a real party. I like that. I like that. Remember, this is coming from a green pressure group. This is Greens for HS2. It's based on dubious arguments, questionable figures, and myths. There is no other way to make the same step change improvement in our whole railway network. Next part, it will deepen our policy confusion on high-speed rail. We are in favor of it in principle, but against it in practice. This stance already makes many people shake their heads and wonder if we are a serious political party. This motion would just make it worse. Gee, people questioning whether the Greens are a serious political party. say no more. Yep, it fails to recognize that HS2 does support green sustainable transport policies, not hinder them. Once you dig into it, you see that HS2 is a massive step in the right direction for green transport. Next point, it makes it even harder for green politicians and campaigners nationally and locally to engage constructively with HS2 and with government to make HS2 a green success. Next point, it would take away the low CO2 sustainable alternatives for millions of Scotland and London flights every year. We want to say this in our national campaigning that HS2 is how we deliver it. So it sets the Green Party of England and Wales apart from its other sister Green parties. In Scotland and mainland Europe, all of whom support high-speed rail, and it lines up with the dodgy Tufton Street think tanks and right-wing forces who hate investment in public transport. In short, it is a knee-jerk motion that does not give the Green Party any credibility or platform to campaign effectively for sustainable transport investments. It's pointing the party in the completely wrong direction, ignoring the big challenges facing our country. This motion must be stopped. We are a political party, not a pressure group. Oh boy. Oh boy. That was fun. we are a political party, not a pressure group. I have a feeling all those, pro Corbynites that have just joined your party are gonna absolutely love that. I wonder when they're gonna find out about HS2. I wonder what they're gonna do when they find out about HS2. Or should we say the Greens for HS2? I wonder how many letters councillors that support Greens for HS2 are going to have to write now in apology and bow their heads to the new members that have joined the party. So, it's futile. HS2 is being built right now. Cuttings and tunnels are already being dug, stations being built. All the woodland clearance for phase 1 has already been taken place. The mitigation, planting, and soil translocations are already starting the recovery from that loss. Any motion from the Green Party to stop HS2 is not serious politics. It's performative grandstanding. It is not going to have any impact on reality, and it just makes the party look like a pressure group rather than a serious electoral force. We know the party is at a crossroads. It needs to make an electoral breakthrough. But does it look inward to its core constituency of environmentalists, or does it look outwards to the electorate who have yet to choose to vote for Green? Who need comprehensive and coherent solutions to all our problems. Those include climate and transport. And we will need to look into all sides of the argument for voting on this motion that will trap us. This is it. It's based on dubious arguments. Let's hear some of these dubious. Oh, hang on. I've only got 5 minutes and I'm going to be at a meeting. I'm going to be at a meeting. But anyway, yeah, if you want to read more about Greens for HS2 on their trials and tribulations, go check them out on their website. There were a very interesting blog post about what happened after and their motion being defeated, and the fact that Greens passed that motion, by the way, at conference. They actually passed that motion to say that the Green Party that we should immediately stop building HS2, even though it's already being built, or at least phase one's already being built. And of course, the second motion that we should back HS2 and high-speed rail because it's going to have a lot of really good benefits. Going to be really good for building green, sustainable transport. They didn't back that. So yeah, Green Party, interesting party. maybe again when it comes closer to the time and they have their election out, their manifesto, etc. We'll take a closer look at it. But until then, like I say, I've got a meeting to go to. I've got a speech to give. I'm still gonna do my presidential duties when it calls for it. But anyway, let's we'll like I say, thank you very much for joining me today. I did try today for the first time streaming on Twitter because I can apparently do that now. So I streamed on Twitter and I've seen a couple of people, only very small people watching Twitter, but maybe we'll do this more in the future. But again, just nice to sort of again stream on there. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to click on the like, share, and of course the subscribe button as well if you are on new. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time. And oh, by the way, if you are anti-HS2 and you want to come and have a talk with someone who is pro-HS2, I'm here. We'll have a nice chat. It'll be fun. It'll be very fun. But as always, thank you for that. And of course, we'll see you all next time.